everyone, Adriana here from Wild Ontario. Today I'm here to talk to you all about bird watching. So bird watching, otherwise known as birding, is pretty much exactly what it sounds like, just going out and watching some birds. And there's really no wrong way to go bird watching. You can go out for a hike somewhere and watch the birds outdoors. You could find a bird feeder and sit by the bird feeder watching the birds that come in for a snack. Or it could even be as simple as sitting by a window in your house or even in your car and watching the birds as you're sitting in the comfort of near your window. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing a few tips and tricks to hopefully inspire you to get outside and start bird watching as a hobby. So the first question you might have when getting started with bird watching is, why should I watch birds? Now, I think there are 5 really good reasons to take up bird watching as a hobby. So reason number 1 is that bird watching is a really accessible hobby. Birds live just about everywhere in the world, so no matter where you live, there's a great chance that you'll be able to find a nice selection of birds, and you can bird watch in a variety of different ways depending on what your abilities or what is accessible to you. So like I mentioned before, no wrong way to go bird watching, no matter where you're from. The second reason I think people should take up bird watching is that bird watching can be a really great way to get together with your family or your household and work on an activity or challenge together. Number 3 for starting up bird watching is that it's an adventure. It's a great way for you to get out into your community, even if you can't travel very far, and explore new areas, learn new places to find birds, and just become more familiar with your community. Reason number 4 for bird watching is that it can be a really great excuse to get out for some exercise. You can plan a route that's a little bit more challenging, you can choose a place with lots of hills, or that's really far for you to walk, depending on what your abilities are, and it's just a nice excuse to get out into nature, get some fresh air, and get some activity going. Now, reason number 5, and the reason we'll be focusing on for the majority of this program, is that while you're bird watching, you can also contribute to science through a really neat tool called eBird. Now, eBird is an online tool that allows you to look up birds, learn more about birds, track your bird list, and also contribute to science. And we'll be doing a second video all about eBird, so you'll learn all about how to use it, what it's all about in that video, so stay tuned to that. The next question you might have when it comes to bird watching is, how do I get started? And the good news is you don't really need much. All you really need are your eyes and your ears. So as long as you can see and hear the birds you're looking for, that is step number 1. Now, there are a few extra tools you can use if you'd like to get a closer look at the birds you're watching. So if you happen to have a set of binoculars, you can use them to help see birds that are far away or to catch some extra details on birds that are a little bit closer perhaps. Another option for bringing the birds to you is to spend some time near some bird feeders. So you could find a local bird feeder in your area and set up shop there for an hour or so, watch the birds that come in for a snack, or you can set up your own bird feeders at home and watch the birds throughout the day that come into your yard. Now, here in Guelph, we are really lucky to have lots of awesome places to go bird watching all year round. The University of Guelph Arboretum is one excellent example, but some other great options for you are the Guelph Lake Conservation Area or anywhere along the Speed River are excellent places to go bird watching as well. All right, one more tip for you before you go out on your own bird watching journeys is how to identify the birds that you see. Now, some of you might already be familiar with a few common birds, which is great. That's a good starting place. And if you're not familiar with a few species of birds, you can always do a little bit of studying before you go out bird watching. There are lots of great books and websites and even online games that you can look up to help you learn to identify birds both by sight and by sound. And once you're feeling comfortable with a few of the common birds you might see out on your adventures, you can head on out into the field. Now, once you're birding, if you happen to come across a bird that you're unfamiliar with, a great step to take in order to identify it later is to document it somehow. So what you can do is you can take a picture of it if you have a camera on you, or even a cell phone through a set of binoculars can sometimes work in a pinch. Or you can always sketch the bird that you're seeing, try and capture all those field marks, and taking notes as well. So you can write down how big it was, any behaviors it was doing, just any clues that might help you out later on when you're trying to look up that bird at home. So a few resources that you can take advantage of to help identify your mystery bird. Field guides are a really great option. This one's a really good one here, the Sibley Guide, if you have it at home or maybe at your library. There's also some free apps that you can download on your phone, like the Merlin ID app from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology or the Audubon Guide to Birds. Those both are free and work really well for IDing birds. Another great resource in this technological era are Facebook groups. So you can join groups like Ontario Birders or Wellington County Birders, and there are members of those groups who are knowledgeable and experienced in bird watching, and if you send in your pictures or your descriptions of the birds you've seen, they can usually point you in the right direction as to finding an ID for that bird. I hope you all learned something new about bird watching today, and I hope you're all feeling inspired to get outside and try it out for yourself. Be sure to check out our second video all about how to use eBird so that once you've done some bird watching, you can record your observations and contribute to some scientific research. Thanks for watching and happy birding!